Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we have another Dr. Logic puzzle for you called Golden Arrow. And when you look at the drawing that we have here, with like the manga explosion of gold in the background, the miniature Earth in a compass that's sort of pierced by a golden arrow, it all just almost looks to me like it should read, Sleuth and the Legend of the Golden Arrow. But I thought I'll keep it simple and just call it Golden Arrow for today. And I'm really looking forward to this because it's another rule set we've not featured on this channel before. It's not an unusual rule set. I've come across it a handful of times before, but it is still quite unusual and plays in a very strange way. Well, enough of that. Let's actually take a look and you'll understand what I'm referring to. So we have a Golden Arrow by Dr. Logic. Dr. Logic even, I told you. And we have the following set of rules. Well, obviously you can see the golden arrow, so it's there. So I kind of drew it incorrectly. The arrowhead is gold, and then the rest of it is green. And then you got essentially a purple line for the string, and then essentially these gray lines for the bow. So yeah, you could definitely see a golden arrow. Let's take a look at the rule set. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and every 3x3 box. Fairly standard. Then we have German whispers, green. Adjacent digits must differ by at least 5. So this line here of German whispers means that digits must differ by 5 on it. So if I put a 2, for example, in here, the digits next to it must be 5 or more away from it. So that could be 7, which is 5, 8 or 9, which is 6 or 7 digits away, and the same is here, 7, 8 or 9. And then because this could be as low as 7, this would have to be from 1 or 2, for example, to be 5 or more away. Obviously not the 2 because we've already repeated that here on the row. And you end up with this chain of oscillating digits, high, low, low being 1, 2, 3, or 4, high being 6, 7, 8, or 9. Notice no 5s on a German whispers line. And if you just put a 5 in here, you can see for me to be 5 away is either a 0, which, I can put, but not allowed under normal Sudoku rules, or 10, which I can't even write in here, which is also not allowed. So no 5s on German whispers lines. Renban, which is the purple line, forms a set of consecutive digits in any order. So we've got this line here, which is forming the string part of the bow and arrow. And it's a 7-cell Renban line. So essentially you should be expecting in any order, for example, the digits 1 through to 7. So it could be, if there's a 1 on here somewhere, for example, this could be the 2, this could be the 4, this could be the 3, this could be the 5. It could essentially be anything along those lines. It doesn't have to be in any order, but all of the digits 1 to 7 must show up if there's a 1 on it. Region sum lines, which are the blue lines. Digits along each region sum line must sum to n in each 3x3 the line passes through. N can be different for different lines. So it's a complicated way of just saying that for this blue line in here, that is in box 1 and box 2, each segment, so these 2 digits, will sum up to something which is equal to this segment, which is in box 2. So if this is 1, 2, for example, this would have to be 3, so that the sums of these two sides are equal. What it's also saying is just because this one sums up to 3 doesn't mean that these will sum up to 3, these will sum up to 3, etc. They are all likely to be different. And in fact, in some cases, because they're pointing at the same box with 1 cell, is absolutely going to be different. Right, so let's get rid of all of these. What else do we have? Nabner. This is the part that I think is new for most of you, if you've not seen it before, but it plays incredibly beautifully. So the gold line, no digits along a Nabner line can be consecutive. Example 135 is allowed, but 192 is not because 1 or 2 are consecutive. So essentially the arrowhead that we have here, which is made up of 4 cells, must have 4 digits, none of which are consecutive to one another. And really, if you look at Nabner and read it backwards, it's Renban, just reversed. So it's essentially trying to have the exact opposite effect. So for example, I could have 2 on here, but then I wouldn't be able to put 3 or 1 because that would break the Nabner line. But I can have a 4, for example, or a 5. That would be totally fine. Now, we also have a thermometer. So we've got thermometers in here, which are the gray lines. Digits along a thermometer must strictly increase starting at the bulb, the gray circle end. So for example, if this is a 2, this has to be lower. Think of a thermometer where digits essentially, or temperatures, increase from the bulb end. There, if this is a 2, this has to be a 1 to be lower, but this would have to be higher, 3, 4, or etc. It clearly couldn't have been 1 because that's decreasing again. And you can see we've got 2 thermometers here. Now, last set of rules are what you may be familiar with as crop key dots. We've got black dots, which means cells separated by a black dot must be in the ratio of 1 to 2. So if that's a 2, for example, this could be 1 or 4 to be in a 2 to 1 ratio. Equally, we have white crop key dots, of which there is only 1, which is this one. So if that's 2, this could be 1 or 3 to be consecutive, or 1 away. Clearly, this was different here because that could have been 1 and 4 because it's in a 2 to 1 ratio. So, no shortage of rules, which is why they look kind of minuscule on the screen. And I just actually realized are not fully legible on the screen. So let me just, there we go. Consecutive is now visible for everyone. If you're not intimidated by the number of rule sets, if you're not intimidated by the fact that we're looking at a new rule set, the Nabner line for the first time, link will be in the description down below as usual to play along. And with that said, let me restart the clock and see how I fare. Now, I love it when I can do this. Here's a digit in under 10 seconds. And I think the reason for that is fairly obvious. We've got a full suite here, mind you, of German whispers. We've got an 8-digit German whisper line all on the same row, none of which can be 5. Where does 5 go in row 5? This can be the only place. Now, the other thing that I usually get tempted to do is to just very quickly color alternate cells on the line, because I don't know whether this is low or high. What I do know, though, is because it alternates, these are all either going to be low or they're all going to be high, and we're going to be able to infer quite a few things about this in a moment. So, for example, when it comes to German whispers lines, you always have to ask the question, where does the 4 and the 6 go? And we know, because it's got an 8-cell arrow, that 4 and 6 absolutely have to appear on this. So I know that both of these have to be the 4 and 6, because if I put a 4 in here, for example, I would have surrounded by 2 9s, breaking the Sudoku rule sets because I'm repeating 1 digit in the row. And for a 4, the only digits that are available would be a 9 because that's the only digit that's 5 away or more. And the same is true for 6, where, only one of these, if I put that as a 6, I would have to surround it by 1s, again breaking it. So really, these two, the 4s and 6s, can only be at the end. And therefore, these 2 cells, the 1s and the 9s, can only be adjacent to them. If that's the 4, that's the 9. If that's not the 4, this is the 6, and that's the 9. And vice versa. 4 and 6 here means that this is either a 3, or a 2, or an 8. Actually tempted to look at the thermometer next. Although I'm fairly sure I can kind of continue my conclusions around this. So now that we've, if you think about low digits for a second, we've already dealt with the 4. Where does the 3 go? And the 3 can only be adjacent to an 8 or a 9. So if that's the 4, this is the 9. This has to be the 3, and this has to be the 8. And the reverse is true. If this is the 4, this would have to be the 9, and this would have to be 3, and this would be the 8. So in essence, this is sort of the next set of most restricted digits, which would be the 3 and the 7. And these would have to be essentially the least restricted digits, which would be the 2 and the 8. I mean, the least restricted in the sense that the 1 and 9 are, but they're kind of helping with these. And then this is sort of the second most restricted, and these are the last ones. So that's a lot of pencil marking. Thermometers next, such as this couldn't have possibly been a 3. This says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a minimum of 6 on this thermometer, or 7, 8, or 9. It is clearly not a 3, so we know, we know that purples are high. We know that oranges are low. I can actually fill in quite a lot of these now. 3, 2, 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now this is not a 3, this is 2 or 8. We don't know which one it is yet. What I do know, though, is because this is 7, and the minimum it could have been is 6, is actually I've removed a huge number of degrees of freedom from this thermometer. So this is now 5 or 6, 4 or 5. It's not even 3 or 4 because we've got 3 in the column. So it's only 4. This could be 2 or 3, and this is 1 or 2. Is this definitely 4? Yeah. So it can't be 3. And if it is 4, then the rest is explicit. There you go. There is 1 degree of freedom, which is left between these two cells, and that's it. What do we have in here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can be as low as 5, unfortunately, or as high as 9, because 6, 7, and 8 are not available. So this is 5 or 9. If it's 5, and I don't think it can, look at what that would mean. 4, 3, 2, and 1. But I'm repeating the 3 in the column. So this is definitely not 5. This is a 9. I need more degrees of freedom. And I know that this is not a 3, nor a 4, mind you. This is at a minimum 5. And this is at a minimum 6, maximum 7, because we've got an 8 in the column. So we've removed huge degrees of freedom from this thermometer just because of what's available in the German Whispers line. This could be 2, 3, 4, or 5. Yeah, this could be 1, 2, 3. Not 4, though, because we've got 4 in the column. So I'm taking a look at the Renban line now next, and that's why I sort of paused for a moment. If you look at these two for a second, I know that at a minimum, I say a minimum, that I absolutely have to have at least a 2 on this Renban line. And the reason I say that is, even if I make this one a 3, this one's a 2. Actually, forget this one. Just look at this one. I have to have at least a 2 on there, maybe even a 1. So this is either a 2 through to 8 line or a 1 through to 7 line. What it does mean is that the 9 is on the outside, and then either the 1 is on the outside because this is 2 to 8, or the 8 is on the outside because this is 1 to 7. Whichever way it is, there is definitely a 9 in one of these two positions. Feels like I should be able to do more. You know, this cell, like if this is 2, this would be 1, this would be 3. If this is 8, then I know this would be 2 because the 1 won't be available. Since I've already placed the 8, this has to be a runoff through 2 to 8. So that would become 2 and that would become 3. Interesting. So if this is 2, this is 1, this is 3. If this is 8, this is 2, this is 3. This is always 3. It's very interesting. Did I really think, that's quite unintuitive actually. Look, I'm just going to do it one more time because it doesn't leap at me. So if that's 2, and that's 1, and that's 3. And if that's 8, I don't have 1 available. That's still 2 and 3. Yep, that's always 3. That's not 2 or 3. Kind of very surprising, but absolutely true. And now we have a quadruple, it seems, of 1, 2, 8, and 9. meaning these are 5, 6, and 7 to cover the remaining triplets. And this is not 5, this is not 6. If this is 5, 6, or 7, we've almost, and actually we do have a quadruple between them. And the reason I say we have a quadruple is because these three, even though you might think they can replicate, they can't. They're on a thermometer. These digits are all different because they're at least, the next one has to be strictly higher. And as weird as that sounds, all 4 cells now see each other, either through the thermo or through normal Sudoku in the same row or in the same box. So that's 4, 5, 6, and 7 used up. Whatever this cell is down here. Could be 6 and 3. But yeah, there is a 6 or 7 somewhere down here. Which also means that this is a 4. I say it's a quadruple, but only one of them could have been a 4, so it was this one all along. I'll move on. I mean, I've kind of passed up on my normal start, which is, there's a 3 sets of black crop key dots, therefore this is 1, 2, 4, or 8. It couldn't have been 3 or 6. It's clearly not 5, 7, or 9. That's not a 1. That's not a 4. This has to be from 2 and 4. Now, does that remove anything else? So this could be 1, 2, 4. This could be 2, 4, 8. This could be 8, 4, 2. Because 4 is not available, it really can't be 4, 2, 1. Have I actually used all these digits? 2, 4, 8, yep. 4, 2, 1, yep. 8, 4, 2, yep. And then 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 8, and 8, 4, 2. So yeah, haven't actually removed anything. Never mind. That's not 3 or 6 either, because that 6 can see them. So this is from 1, 2, 4, and 8. That's not 4. That can't be 1 because that would be 2. And then what would I do with this white crop key dot? So that's not 1. This is 2 or 8, which means this is not 2. And this is not 8. Fascinating. So the 2 can be with either of them. The 8 could be with the 4. The 2, therefore, could also be with 1 or 4, and the 8, no, excuse me, not 4, the 3. And the 8 could be with 7 or 9. I don't know if I really want to pencil mark this, but I will for now. I mean, I can see now because I've used from one of the 1, 2, 4, and 8s, it means that one of these is almost certainly going to be a 3, 6. But it doesn't seem like the easiest way here. It feels like I should be looking elsewhere for easier things, such as there's definitely a 5 in here. This is definitely a single cell. So let's think about what it can be. It can be 6, 7, 8, or 9, meaning the 5, it can't be 9 because 5 with a 4 is not available to make a 9. So this is 5 and 1, 2, or 3, depending on whether we're getting 6, 7, or 8 as the sum. And because we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, this is not from 1, 2, or 3. This is 8 or 9. Be really helpful to figure out whether whether the 1 is on the Renban line or not. So I can figure out which one is the 8. Whether it's 2 to 8 or 1 to 7. It would be very helpful, but it's just not enough information still. We've got an 8, 9. So we've got a second 8, 9 in here. We've got another 6, 7. That's in here. So actually we've got another 6, 7. It's in none of these. So that's not a 7. I mean, really clutching at straws here. This is not what's going to help me solve this. So Let me think. What am I missing? I mean, these are not hugely useful cells. All they're saying is they are the same. Same, but these two are different from these two. So we know that this is not 9, 8, 7, 6, or 5. This is, or 2. This is 1, 3, or 4. 1, 3, or 4. Not very helpful. What am I missing? Oh, actually, this is also from 1, 2, 4, and 8, because we've got a 6 in here. So, not 3, 4. So, because we've got 2 of them, essentially what we must have is either 1, 2 in here, and then 8, 4 in there, or 1, 2 in there, and 8, 4 in here. And therefore, this is also 1 or 2, or 4 and 8. So if this is 1 or 2, this would be 3. If this is 4 and 8, this would be 9 because 7 is not available. So we've at least restricted this digit. So this digit here is one of these, because if that's 1, 2, that's 4, 8. Therefore, this is from 1, 2. And it's not in this column, and it's not in that column. It's somewhere in here. So one of these cells is essentially this cell, I suspect. And then the other one is a 3 or 6. Why do I keep saying it's 3 or 6? I haven't actually really proven that. Because, if this is 1, 2, this can easily be 4, 8. I'm missing something. So we said this one will to be here, and then we got 5, 6, and 7. Then we got 1, 8, and 9. We've got a triplet of some sort. And then somewhere between these cells is a 2. I mean, the Nabner line might be the next thing I should be looking at. It just feels like I don't have enough information. Well, maybe. I mean, between these and the Nabner line, there might be something. So let me have a think about what this could be. So I need 2 more cells that are not adjacent to themselves or the 1 and 6. So 2 is not on here. But equally, 2 is not there because of the fact that I've got a run of 4 Kropke dots. None of them of which are 3 or 6. Now, I think the 2 is this one. Because when you have a run of 3, there has to be 2 and 4 on there. And it's the question of whether it's 1 or 8. So this has to be the 2. This is the 4. This is the 8. This is now 1 or 2, making this 4, 8, 9. This 4, 8 is not in this here, nor there. This is 4 or 8. And it is not breaking the Nabner line. This 9 can only be now in here. This can only be 3 and 7. And this last digit can only be a 5 to complete the column. You can probably keep going, figure out what all of these are. So the 1 is up here. Well, 5 is there, not on the black Kropke dots, surely. So that's a 5. 9 is in here. 1 is there. Don't know anything about the 3. 4 is sorted. 5 is sorted. Don't know enough about 6. Nor 7. 8 is sorted. And then 9. Yeah. Okay. Right. There you go. 1 is here. One of these is a 2. And then the other one is a 3, 6. So if that's a 2, if that's the 2, that will be 1 or 4 or 3 or 6. I'm kind of over pencil marking now, I think. If that's a 2, the 4 is not available. That's a 1, 3, or 6. And this is starting to look very complicated and busy. So I know I have one of the 3 6s, one of the 1s or 4. Not a lot more than that, though. Right, before I got distracted, let me just... I'm sure I can do a bit more of this puzzle now. 2, looking at this 2, 8, that's an 8. Therefore, there's no 1 on this. Yes, that's correct. That's a 9. That's the 1. This is now from 5, 6, and 7. This is now a 4 and 8. Can I do any more? Not yet, it seems. You know that this is a 2, therefore this is a 3. This is not 2 or 3. This is a 1, 5 pair. Therefore this is a 6. Yeah, I'm slowly waking up. That's not 1. That's not 1. Therefore that's not 2. That's a 3, 6 pair. This is not 3 or 6. We already have 6 in the box. That's 3. That's 6. That's the 2. This is now 1 or 4. This can still be a 1, surely. And this can still be a 3. So, no, can't explicitly do anything here other than just clean this up and say this is 1, 3. And we actually know what this cell is because this is not 1 or 3. This is a 7. We can complete this row now. We know the 2 is in here. The 8 is there. 8, not 7. We now know that this is 6, 7, and 8. Although that's not an... Well, that's not a 9. Neither of them are 9. This is an 8. And now we have a 1, 3, 4 triplet. That's correct. Then we have a 7. Actually, that's not a 3. Therefore, this is the 3. This is the 1. And to finish this box off, that's the 9. That's not a 3 either now. Yeah, I can tell I'm waking up now. I can actually do the puzzle rather than sort of the 10-minute struggle bus that it was. I know what this cell is. This is a 6. These are 3, 7, and 9, I believe. Except that's not a 3. What else do I know? So that's not 3, 6 because we've got 6 in here. That's not a 1. So this could be 2 and 4 or 4 and 8. That's correct. There has to be a 4 on here. 4 is in this box. Therefore, this is definitely a 4. This is from 2 or 8. Can't be 8 because the minimum now I can make this sum region line is 8 and 2 to get to 10. That's a 2. This 6, 7 had to be in here, so that's 6 or 7. This is 8 or 9. 8's not available because of the column. That's a 9. Therefore, this is a 7, 7, not 7. Of course, not enough information to disambiguate this triplet. Got 5, 6s covered. We need 8 and 9 in here. That's the 9. That's the 8. That's not 8. This is the 8. Have we done anything with the 1s and 5s? No. 6 and 7s? Yes, we have. Here is a 6, a 7, a 5, a 6, a 5, a 1, a 5. What else do we have? We know that there's a 2 in here. We don't know. We do know where the 1 is. It's in here. We've got 6, which can only be in here, and 7. That's a lot of digits. We should be able to solve it from here, surely. 1, 4 still. Still can't solve this. Oh, this had to be a 4 now. So that's a 1, a 4, a 4, a 1. We need 3 and 5 to complete this. That's not the 3, that's the 5. 5, 3. What do we have in here? We need a 1, which can only be in here, and a 3 by the looks of things. We've got 3s looking in here. That's the 3. That's the 9. That's the 7. This is the 2, the 1, 2. 6 can only be in here. And if I've not made any mistakes, 8 and the solution to today's puzzle. I mean, it's a lovely puzzle. I don't know why I was struggling so much for quite some time. Maybe I was just not as focused as I should be. Let me just think about this. So the German Whispers, I think I played that fairly well. And then the Thermometers, that went fairly well. Then I think I sort of seem to have gone to sleep for a bit. I mean, I sort of understood the Renban a bit, so that was sort of average. And then, yeah, I just sort of blanked out for what probably felt like 10 minutes before I woke up and started to use this Nabner line. I really should have looked at this a lot earlier. And these runs of black crocodiles, and then it all just fell apart fairly quickly, you know, together with the sum region lines, region sum lines. So, I mean, it's definitely an approachable puzzle. Just don't use my solution as a reference. It should be simpler than this. And it's a beautiful puzzle from Dr. Logic, and a wonderful introduction to Nabner lines. I will certainly be taking a look at them again on this channel. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you back for the next one. Bye for now.